Right, abusu mo bibi akwa ban famra 2K ni sem blogs o YouTube so say abusu afọ yaba as usual. Ensem ahodo a ekoso wo Ghana say na de beso mahwefo. Ene atiefuo nyina na abusu amhodo nti no ya fato yon sisa abre bia no de besi bia no gise nyankopon aba ansa na ye gya ye dwumadie. Ensuo mo awiamu we ensem ahodo e ba besom obi biara o jam kura na ensem e ba besom na abusu me no kasa no ensuo 20 misamo de becheme se background no noise libre ekoso e wo honom. Na de tie nyina say after say OSB e declare che say eye Ken Ofori Atta no wanted no abusu ensem bi aba betodwa. De tie nyina say medi kan video bi aba besom channel we aso a e fa che say afenyo marking wan ko fo bi tirim say be ya ye nchi afenyo marking after say achi afenyo marking e betima boa ama che say etime hu ba bi a Ken Ofori Atta because omo nyina eye party members so they know whatever is going on in the party no omo ni ba bi o hye na sisi enso no Nana B nso ho aka and the thing nyina say yes Nana B ono nso wa akwantuom na sa akwantuom no obeduru anaso okoduru eye airport a se de be ya na transportation no entimi nya successful en fama no eye ade se mpanfo bi de nsem ya ba betudwa se ono nso ye nche no na se ye nche na ono nso betima aboa ama che se eye Ken Ofori Atta ba bi owo bia no mpanfo atimi hu na omo no adili omo no na kan se de ensem no esitie na busua ensem no wa se audio no wa se ma be play ama obi bia nso enya de ekon de etie message se answer na no obuo ne ndi kwa so se wonya subscribe YouTube channel ya no subscribe de ama na bibia nso etimi aye kama abusua madin ka acha mo mfa nche for this scene na the tendency so the city tower bia ya mo ise no enya asem keto amani o make kabum pa mi studio ha kra bibia wo ho na mo no hodo nti madin ka acha abusua enko ne enko tie ensem no emfa mbra ba betina se yedi ho enkomo city tie
mo hwehwe nkratem se ye chede ye nche mu bia na bia anya den enye bi nkofo di tifio anu mo make millions of cedis on daily basis. Mame mo a national security coordinator abaso. Moyan for Osman DCOP. We are said there me catch for 8 good years. Ya man promotion that in the police service. Ya two baby ya NPP lusu ya NP and free ACP. And then call DCOP. And we are national security coordinator. National security coordinator and the CDS reported to him. IGP reported to him. And son wano anopabia wama president anopabia wama ni briefing. Iti biasi winya position ho enfans wa. Wuni namu ni mse bia sa papa ya fa se Osman no. Namu ni se mu piana ya dan ahyewu. Enne woso wo soro. Wo ye DCOP nso anopabia wo the report be man. We don't need to mention their names. There was an officer almost no. Omo resign no moko. Man train my pamo. The pamini the head ya ebe beto. And you move say your mama onim the oyana. Your mama munim say onim the oyana. Officer na what here. Oni say na now do na appoint we do better wa. Wa be ye ne djuma ma na bi. Woni ne mapon. Iti wa sesa ukuku no kaka na ko. Entwe say ya fa le temra hey Dr. Kalisto Sune fa le squatcho for so si o muni mutire o mo betwire sisi a and the honorable Julius Zebra wo betwire sisi a ameko alisa so fa kakra be ka ho on the ghost names na fe ya wrap up
yo Mugabe me dey make a che Ghana for mu yi mani Ken Ofori Atta so on be bio enya de obe ba Ghana bio ai na John Jina Pokai no odi ne ho akamura otilo wagibam ya gudu sa voice we nyina wo ye de wa dwane o yesfi ya wo hunu mu ma nya na esizi omo property ni enjen che keligaje pomu esizi data bank enterprise insurance travel Ghana ni partners omo wo ha ye nchi chiomo mu nko chiom hey chale tu mi na
go na court ni eje ni bank se wo wase mo na chale over another no yes
I don't know silicon economy please he's nobody I see on babium let's seize these things cause he say obeba mon chichire de eye ne mrebo power abema na frito kronum aba mon ka tse Trump nso mu hu om so mo na America ho amom bra Mugabe onu na be meeting di kwa na me boafu oh yes so me to make catch because his father was a humble person. His father was watching mattress, very humble person. It was a champion who made his father to become somebody. Under the auspices of helping Ghanaians to attain the economic heights, of the economy, that Ghanaians will take the commanding heights of the economy. His father decided to support industrialists at the time. No, a mattress or a foam, spring room, or that's what to say, come on. Now, the bucket, me, who baby, or didn't buy free. No, papa, no, any bro. And go in a buying fanny sika and support, no. But we are quite away to a nibre, and I mean, who be that? The nibre, no, a brunt, yes. Look at what he has done. And he's walking around doing press conferences. How? On no boss and medium fino. And you know, on no medium fino, no, afar bicycle. And no born, who after bicycle, almost a press conference. What do you say? They are about, hey, with the giant place. Mugabe, no, let's see about my 2 year film. So be obedient about Bonnet, but I say, yeah, it would be my year for Onumponu. I don't want to see men American. She give to Kunedu or why? And yes, I know, friend. And sports minister, no.
Mustafa Yusuf, and was SB.
So, because Mustafa no dear, he was a stooge for Osafumafo. Osafumafo ne wine it is a lokoto.
No, but Mustafa Yusuf, no, is it not the same under him as sports minister? No,
$1
$15 million. Every year, what you know, and 4.5 million. Every year, ID cards, marginal. Why is the guy working free? That's what I'm saying. He needs to come and account for all those money. So he just didn't steal from the sports ministry. He also stole from the national service. He's a professional thief.
No, his godfather.
NIB should be interrogating him.
His godfather loves money, so he uses him to go and bring the money.
Yeah.
And then you to know them. We are money. Now they think gong. No.
Yeah. Go on.
They have to arrest them. Nana B, the Kunedu girl, and they have to arrest them. We have to write to the international community. We have to go to the American embassy.
Seize their passport.
And then so that they seize their passport. Go to the Australian embassy and the Canadian embassy. Nana B ope Canada kopa. Mumma odu ayen chino. National service. Do you know the intention of the formation of the national service in 1972? Hey, Kutu Achampon, may your soul rest in peace. When Palawe in national service, who are champion your boat too, but saying Palawe in national service, or my fem, or my Yesika, your body, always, what that will be, who you do crowd, but say, look at the money we are talking about, 8.4 million in a year. What is scanning again? Nanabi, what are you using the money for? Small boy like you.
Yes, all this kind of my lawyer ladies.
What? You know why they set up the national service?
Not the share lawyer ladies. Lawyer ladies, the share lawyer ladies. Lawyer ladies.
Mugabe, every mobile Ghana. Baby, I go for Esika. Baby, I know be Esika. Obi go for brother 2 pay. Esi on coach 25 years. Obi the pen.
We want to ensure that there's value for money. We want to ensure that we do the right thing. We want to ensure that we protect the ordinary Ghanaian and the taxpayers' money. And so rest assured, we will tackle that issue. And we'll tackle that issue frontally and head on. I've briefed His Excellency the President and has given me full approval and authorization to move full steam. And that's exactly what we intend to do. President Mahama is very, very determined. He is very committed to local content and to Ghanaian participation. But we also want to balance that so that we can also get the needed FDIs into the economy in order to spur economic growth and ensure that we attain inclusive, accelerated growth. That we have an interest that maximizes their overall benefit, not just having the equity for the sake of it. I know some blocks that are owned by Ghanaians, and for some years now, no activity is taking place. It's a big loss to both that Ghanaian entrepreneur. So many banks deduct their monies at source. They've just gone for what they call a super vendor. That super vendor takes 5% at source. They've gone for a certain payment app from a company that takes another 3% at source. And so I have an issue. You have a lot of deductions at source, which eats away almost a chunk of the money. So if you take a case scenario like the 1.5 billion, what ECG ought to do is to deposit all the money into a holding account. So all the 1.5 billion ought to go into what you call a holding account.
Right.
Then there's a cash waterfall mechanism committee, which we are reconstituting. The ministry is represented, Ministry of Finance, PRC, and then they would determine the formula to apportion the money. So if ECG decides to declare only 1 billion, what it means is that the 500 million, they keep that money and spend it. That we are talking about are monies that are collected, but ECG failed to declare those monies. and decided to appropriate the monies and spend them. So when they do that, then power producers will not be paid, generators will not be paid, the transmission grid companies will not be paid, even the levies, which are statutory and passed by parliament, will not be paid. And that is where you are having some of these major problems. And it's all because they are engaging in what I call very frivolous procurements. They have about 3,000 containers stuck at the port, generating demurrage of about 1.5 billion. That is unacceptable. Some of the things they've procured will last them 10 years. Some would even expire in 5 years. And so we've commissioned a committee to investigate ECG's procurements and the cause of these containers stuck at the port. And the committee is doing a very good job. So far, the preliminary report I've gotten indicates that there's massive rot at ECG. They do not follow procurement guidelines. They do not follow procurement processes. They do not conduct a needs analysis, and they just engage in brazen procurement. And so we're waiting for that report. But beyond that, there will be another technical report. What the PwC has done is a financial audit. We want to do a human audit, human resource audit, and a deeper audit of all the energy sector, a full approval and authorization to move full steam. And that's exactly what we intend to do. President Mahama is very, very determined. He is very committed to local content and to Ghanaian participation. But we also want to balance that so that we can also get the needed FDIs into the economy in order to spur economic growth and ensure that we attain inclusive, accelerated growth. That we have an interest that maximizes their overall benefit, not just having the equity for the sake of it. I know some blocks that are owned by Ghanaians, and for some years now, no activity is taking place. It's a big loss to both that Ghanaian entrepreneur and to the state. But if you can attract some majors and some big oil producers to partner with you and then spare up the exploration process and ultimately begin to produce oil, because that is what we want to do, especially as we go through this energy transition. We must pump oil as much as we can whilst we brace up for the transition period. And our emphasis more is on the gas, so that all our thermal plants, we can run them on gas, even if they are dual fuel, but with some buffer, in order that if there's a problem with gas, we can easily switch to alternative fuel. And from the records, in 2022 thereabout, we made a savings of about...
Without that, changes so as a council of state I know sir by watching a corner de channel, not swearing in a taking place. A bet taking place either tomorrow or Wednesday. Now move speed. Baby a joma den yama etoto no speed. I want to say yes. You will fear nyansa. Abem wo ye bibia wasa will apply common sense in whatever you do. The 3Ds. One apply the 3Ds. I would be obey failure. Determination, dedication, and discipline. The 3Ds. When you do our life more fine, you fail. Determination, dedication, and discipline. 3Ds. And what do I want now? I say, office na own. So we are another appointee now. No, start writing your handing over. No, I say quiet. Don't sit down for us to fire you because we are the other. So I'm not here to mention their names. More lobby no. None of them do but now. Now they tell this here the Ninipa. And this is here Ninipa. But me person me say Jameson. Soldier for now no mutin friend. No matter so hard. Soldier for now no mutin Jameson fear. One number more than a channel. One boss ramono. Sa soldier for no matter so do to Jameson fear na. That just want to know. Yes. And one, you say Abaya de Bobano, and one ya de Baba touch you. John Mahama appointees, when you're very, very careful. John Mahama appointees, when you're very, very careful. Mom will say, you to know more, and I'm happy. Sami me who babuna yamanu to me ya. Sababuno what to me now. What to me the baby no the boy mafo. That is the future generation. And your guys asemo Pieto will asemo. Munya jumani ye. Na kwanya Ghana for so to abama over a year 1.7 million votes difference no but mani su ba majo ma fa ukotena office na kwaya kaka be nsem hawaka pampos na peja ne nan me wunni me na me yewe massa wo be steady me ba na fa wi ama wo me konso am ba wi ngo ye ba ye be pri bibia wo wi ase ye kwa na eja bibia wo ne ye ko. Be very careful in that office because millions of people in the same qualification wo eya dumbi na de wa kwakotena ba bia ye de wa kwakotena no. So wisdom mama nyame kama kuma kata asesa ne kro no munyimfiri makwam hwe ma ye wo bia ye de kata asesa ne project tower obi agina was no Mugabe no. I've known him for over 20 years. Mugabe won't me for bribe on Tareno. Obetimi akwase okose me. And no they granted who that opportunity. Go na dachi ubebu pasa ube share with the bani mi. Yes. We bibiano are very careful. Na nyawa dwen say won wo ye Joma ma appointee.